A hailstorm scam that leaves more than just dents on your car. Fighting fires before they even start will tell you how to keep your house fire-free. And film protests continue to grow in the Middle East. KOMU 8 News starts now.
From Studio 8A, coverage you can count on in high definition. This is KOMU 8 News.
You gotta figure there's probably tens of millions of dollars worth of damage in Columbia right now.
The hailstorm that blew through mid-Missouri earlier this month led to nearly 2,700 damage claims. Good evening, I'm Danielle McCarthy. With storm-chasing companies and a recent law change, KOMU 8's Katie Brennan tells us why your routine for dealing with the aftermath of these storms may need some tweaking. State Farm is holding a drive-up inspection operation at Frank Fletcher Honda in Columbia. Agents assess the damage on cars and provide checks to customers to get repairs underway. The drive-in service should be available for another couple of weeks.
A few minutes. Danielle, back to you.
Thanks, Rosie. Fall weather is creeping into mid-Missouri, and you may be moving inside and turning up the heat, but the more time you spend inside, the more likely it is for a fire to start in your home. KOMU 8's Dan Kennedy takes a look at some of your home's most dangerous fire-prone areas.
And the fire will continue.
Another frequent fire area of the home is, of course, the fireplace. There were 9 chimney fires last year in Columbia. The Callaway County Ambulance District hosted a car seat safety check today at Ovaz Elementary School. The group hoped to educate drivers about proper safety techniques for child passenger seats. Car crashes are the leading cause of death for kids ages 1 through 12. The group checked to make sure the seats were up to date and the proper size for each child. One worker says parents can set an example for their kids by practicing car safety themselves.
And making sure that
2 St. Joseph men have been killed in a single vehicle accident in northwest Missouri late last night. The Missouri State Highway Patrol says 20-year-old Eric Anderson and 31-year-old Douglas Arrow died in the crash. The State Highway Patrol says the accident happened when the car the men were riding in traveled off the south side of a road in eastern St. Joseph and hit an embankment. Both of the victims were ejected from the vehicle. Police in Springfield say crews have recovered the body of a 75-year-old woman from a lake. Police say the woman was driving an SUV when she veered off and went into the lake Saturday. The Springfield News Leader reports that the first call to police came in just before 5 in the evening, and the woman was dead when police arrived at the scene. The woman's name has not been released. And in your world news, Christians and Sikhs in Pakistan today joined Muslims in protesting an anti-Islam film produced in the U.S. The film sparked protests across the Muslim world. Some of those protests have at times been violent since an excerpt of the movie was posted on YouTube earlier this month. The president of the Pakistan People's Party's Christian wing has called for the filmmaker to be given a death sentence. Christian PPP members joined several other organizations for a protest today. Another demonstration was held in Islamabad near Pakistan's parliament building. Around 300 Christians, Sikhs, Hindus, and Muslims attended. Afghanistan's government is banning Pakistani newspapers from entering the country. The Interior Ministry claims the newspapers were spreading anti-government propaganda. The ban is an effort to keep the Taliban from influencing public opinion via the press. A deputy Interior Ministry spokesman said some Pakistani papers had published speeches by Taliban leaders at a time when the government was trying to engage in peace talks to end the war. A tragic avalanche in Nepal, and authorities aren't even sure how many people were killed. Different news organizations are reporting between 9 and 11, but the estimates for those still missing go from 15 to 28. The avalanche in northern Nepal hit at nearly 23,000 feet. It swept climbers from their camp as they prepared to head toward the summit of Mount Manaslu. Disband and get out. A stern order is coming from Libya's army to rogue militia groups. The army is ordering illegal armed groups around Tripoli to leave state and military premises within the next 48 hours. Otherwise, they will be removed by force. The move is an attempt to bring the calm in the country nearly 2 weeks after the deadly attack on the U.S. consulate in Benghazi. Missouri saw an increase in jobs created in August, but the Show Me State may be selling you on the wrong set of data. We'll have that story next. New data recently released shows Missouri lost the 3rd largest amount of retail jobs across the country over the past year. But is this statistic really representative of retail in mid-Missouri? KOMU 8's Elise Ogioni shows us how some Columbia retail workers say they have seen quite the opposite.
KOMU 8 News, Columbia.
Illinois lost the most retail jobs in the country, with almost 14,000 jobs being cut, while Indiana lost a total of 9,400 jobs. In your national news, the FAA is investigating what caused a small plane to go down in Pasco County, Florida. Andreas Wendell of Switzerland was killed when his plane crashed in a field in Lando Lake Saturday. Authorities say Wendell had received clearance to land just before disappearing off the radar. Wendell's flight originated out of Pensacola, Florida. New numbers released today say after 8 weeks of increases, gas prices nationwide have finally come to a standstill. The survey found the average national price for gasoline down a fraction of a penny to $3.80 a gallon. Prices increased 43 cents a gallon between mid-July and September before finally going back slightly over the past 2 weeks. The change is likely due to a decline in crude oil prices. Jackson, Mississippi had the lowest average price at $3.51. Chicago had the highest at $4.25. We looked into your gas prices here around mid-Missouri, and this is what we found. In Columbia, the low price is just under $3.60. Jefferson City drivers are paying almost $3.70 per gallon. Down in Osage Beach, you're paying around $3.65, and over in Mexico, viewers are paying about $3.59.
We're going to